Ladies and gentlemen, today we gather to reflect on the profound legacy of one of the most inspiring leaders in modern history, Nelson Mandela. His leadership was not defined by power over others, but by the power to empower others. Mandela's journey teaches us that true leadership uplifts communities, transforms societies, and reshapes the world. Mandela's leadership began in the face of tremendous adversity, a system designed to oppress and divide. Yet, instead of responding with hatred or vengeance, Mandela chose empathy, forgiveness, and inclusion. He demonstrated that leadership rooted in respect for human dignity can dismantle even the most entrenched injustices. Empowerment was at the heart of Mandela's vision. He believed in unlocking the potential of every individual and fostering unity in diversity. His presidency was marked by efforts to promote reconciliation, education, and equal opportunity, showing us that leadership is not about domination but about service. Mandela's impact transcended South Africa's borders. His example inspired movements for freedom, justice, and human rights worldwide. From grassroots activists to world leaders, Mandela's message remains a beacon of hope and a call to action. Nelson Mandela's leadership stands out because it was fundamentally about empowerment rather than control or domination. Unlike many leaders who seek to consolidate power by asserting authority over others, Mandela's approach was to inspire and uplift those around him. He believed that leadership is not about commanding from the top, but about creating an environment where everyone feels valued, heard, and capable of contributing meaningfully to the collective good. Mandela understood that empowerment is the foundation of sustainable change. By empowering individuals, communities, and even entire nations, leaders can spark creativity, resilience, and commitment that no autocratic rule can replicate. Mandela's leadership style was inclusive. He made it a point to listen to diverse voices, including those who opposed him, demonstrating respect for all perspectives. This inclusiveness gave people a sense of ownership in the process of nation building, which was crucial for healing a deeply divided country. Moreover, Mandela's empowerment extended beyond political freedom. He saw education as a powerful tool to equip people with knowledge and skills, enabling them to participate fully in society and shape their own futures. His famous assertion that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world reflects this belief in empowerment through knowledge. His ability to empower was also evident in how he delegated responsibility and trusted others to lead in their own capacities. He nurtured leadership at multiple levels, encouraging activists, community leaders, and ordinary citizens to step forward. This decentralized approach helped create a broad base of leadership committed to democratic ideals and social justice. Mandela's empowering leadership ultimately changed the narrative from one of victimhood and oppression to one of dignity, capability, and hope. It is a reminder that true leadership is about building others up, enabling them to rise to challenges, and sharing power in a way that multiplies strength rather than concentrating it in the hands of a few. Nelson Mandela's journey is a profound testament to the power of forgiveness as a tool for overcoming adversity. Throughout his 27 years of imprisonment under the harsh apartheid regime, Mandela endured immense personal suffering, yet he chose a path that defied the expectations of bitterness and revenge. Instead of allowing his circumstances to harden his heart or fuel hatred, he embraced forgiveness, a decision that not only defined his character but also shaped the future of South Africa. Forgiveness, in Mandela's leadership, was not a sign of weakness, but an act of tremendous courage and strength. It required him to look beyond the injustices he personally experienced and recognize the humanity, even in those who upheld the system of apartheid. This choice was radical because it disrupted the cycle of retribution that had long fueled conflict and division. Mandela's willingness to forgive created a foundation for dialogue and reconciliation, allowing South Africa to transition from decades of racial segregation and violence to a new era of democracy and inclusiveness. His example teaches us that forgiveness is a powerful leadership tool that enables healing at both the personal and societal levels. It opens the door for rebuilding trust and creating a shared vision for the future. Mandela understood that clinging to resentment would only prolong suffering and prevent the country from moving forward. Instead, forgiveness became the catalyst for national unity and collective progress. Moreover, Mandela's approach to forgiveness was deeply strategic. By advocating for reconciliation rather than punishment, he helped avoid a potentially devastating civil war that could have torn South Africa apart. His leadership showed that healing wounds of the past is essential for building sustainable peace. This emphasis on forgiveness also sent a global message that reconciliation can be a powerful response to injustice, inspiring other nations and leaders facing their own struggles with conflict and division. Mandela's story challenges leaders everywhere to consider forgiveness not as an option, but as a necessary step in overcoming adversity. It underscores the idea that forgiveness can transform pain into purpose and conflict into cooperation, laying the groundwork for a future built on mutual respect and shared humanity. At the heart of Nelson Mandela's leadership was an unwavering commitment to respect for human dignity. Mandela understood that every individual, regardless of their race, background, or social status, possesses an inherent worth that must be honored and protected. This profound respect for human dignity was not just a moral conviction, but the cornerstone of his vision for a just and equitable society. During the era of apartheid, South Africa was entrenched in a system that systematically dehumanized millions of people based on the color of their skin. Mandela witnessed firsthand the devastating impact of this institutionalized discrimination, which stripped individuals of their rights, freedoms, and sense of self-worth. His leadership challenged this dehumanization by affirming the intrinsic value of every person, demanding that their rights be recognized and safeguarded. Mandela's respect for human dignity manifested in his efforts to build a society where equality was not just a legal principle, but a lived reality. He championed policies that sought to dismantle the structures of inequality and discrimination, ensuring that all South Africans had access to opportunities, justice, and respect. His emphasis on dignity went beyond mere tolerance. It was about embracing diversity and fostering an environment where differences were celebrated rather than suppressed. This respect also extended to his leadership style. Mandela treated even his adversaries with dignity and respect, recognizing that every person has the potential for change and redemption. By refusing to demonize those who once oppressed him, he modeled a form of leadership grounded in compassion and mutual respect. This approach helped to ease tensions and create a platform for honest dialogue and reconciliation. Furthermore, Mandela's insistence on respecting human dignity influenced international human rights movements and became a guiding principle for leaders around the world. His legacy reminds us that respecting human dignity is essential not only for peace and justice, but for the very fabric of society to thrive. It calls leaders to recognize the humanity in everyone they serve and to create inclusive systems that uplift rather than marginalize. One of Nelson Mandela's most remarkable achievements was his ability to foster unity in the midst of profound diversity and division. South Africa, under apartheid, was a nation deeply fractured along racial, ethnic, and cultural lines. Decades of systemic segregation had entrenched mistrust and animosity between groups that seemed irreconcilable. Mandela recognized that for the country to move forward, it was essential not only to dismantle the structures of apartheid, but also to build a new national identity that embraced diversity as a source of strength rather than division. Mandela's vision of unity was inclusive and far-reaching. He understood that true unity does not mean erasing differences or imposing uniformity, but rather creating a space where all groups could coexist with mutual respect and shared purpose. This approach required patience, dialogue, and a commitment to reconciliation. Mandela led by example, consistently reaching out to communities across racial and cultural lines, inviting them into a common project of nation building. The process of fostering unity in such a diverse society involved difficult conversations and painful concessions. Mandela advocated for truth and reconciliation processes that allowed for honest acknowledgement of past wrongs while promoting forgiveness and healing. He saw that only by confronting the realities of the past openly could the country hope to build a future founded on trust. Mandela also championed symbolic acts that reinforced unity, such as his emphasis on national symbols that represented all South Africans. His use of the South African national rugby team, the Springboks, which had been seen as a symbol of apartheid, to bring together the nation during the 1995 Rugby World Cup, was a powerful example of how sports and shared cultural moments could bridge divide. This act sent a clear message that the new South Africa belonged to everyone, regardless of their background. Moreover, Mandela's leadership showed that diversity is not a barrier but an asset. He believed that when diverse voices and perspectives are included, societies become more resilient, innovative, and just. His vision of unity in diversity has inspired not only South Africa, but also other nations grappling with their own divisions, highlighting the possibility of building solidarity in pluralistic societies. Nelson Mandela's leadership was deeply rooted in the principle of service. Unlike leaders who seek power for personal gain or prestige, Mandela viewed leadership as a profound responsibility to serve others and to advance the well-being of the entire community. His approach to leadership was not about commanding or controlling, but about dedicating oneself to the needs and aspirations of the people. From the early days of his activism against apartheid, Mandela demonstrated a commitment to serving the cause of justice and equality, even at great personal cost. His willingness to sacrifice his own freedom and comfort for the liberation of his people reflects the essence of service-oriented leadership that prioritizes the greater good over individual interests. Mandela's presidency embodied this ethic of service. He focused on policies that aimed to address the deep inequalities and systemic injustices that apartheid had created. He championed initiatives that expanded access to education, healthcare, and economic opportunities, recognizing that leadership must translate into tangible improvements in people's lives. By prioritizing social justice and development, Mandela underscored that leaders must be accountable to those they serve. Moreover, Mandela's leadership style was characterized by humility and approachability. He remained connected to the grassroots, listening to the concerns of ordinary citizens and ensuring their voices were heard in governance. This openness fostered trust and respect, reinforcing the idea that leaders exist to empower their communities rather than to elevate themselves above them. His service-oriented leadership also extended to promoting reconciliation and peace. Mandela's efforts to heal the divisions of South Africa and build a democratic society were acts of service to the nation's future. He placed the country's collective needs above partisan or personal agendas, demonstrating that leadership in service means working tirelessly for unity and shared prosperity. This model of leadership challenges the notion of leadership as a position of privilege. Instead, it presents leadership as a vocation, a calling to dedicate oneself to the empowerment, upliftment, and betterment of others. Mandela's legacy teaches us that when leaders serve with integrity and compassion, they inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect that can transform entire societies. Nelson Mandela's leadership and legacy extend far beyond the borders of South Africa, serving as a profound source of inspiration for people and movements around the world. His story of resilience, courage, and moral integrity resonated globally, demonstrating how an individual's commitment to justice and equality can spark transformative change on a universal scale. Mandela's struggle against apartheid became a symbol of the broader fight against oppression and injustice everywhere. Activists, leaders, and ordinary citizens in countries facing their own challenges, whether political, racial, or social, looked to Mandela as a beacon of hope and an example of how perseverance, coupled with principled leadership, could overturn even the most entrenched systems of inequality. His ability to endure decades of imprisonment without bitterness and to emerge as a unifying figure sent a powerful message about the possibilities of forgiveness and reconciliation in the aftermath of conflict. Internationally, Mandela's impact influenced the development and strengthening of human rights movements. His leadership helped galvanize global awareness and solidarity, leading to widespread sanctions against apartheid South Africa and encouraging other nations to reevaluate policies that supported systemic injustice. His election as South Africa's first black president was celebrated worldwide as a triumph of democracy and human dignity, inspiring countries emerging from colonialism and conflict to envision new paths toward inclusive governance. Mandela's example also shaped the ethos of leadership globally. He challenged leaders everywhere to prioritize integrity, humility, and service over power and self-interest. His advocacy for peaceful resolution of conflicts, respect for diversity, and promotion of social justice set a standard for ethical leadership that transcends cultures and political systems. Moreover, Mandela's global inspiration continues today in contemporary movements for racial equality, social justice, and human rights. His legacy is invoked by activists advocating against systemic racism, discrimination, and inequality. His words and actions remind us that enduring change requires not only courage but also compassion, strategic vision, and an unwavering commitment to the dignity of all people. Through his global impact, Mandela demonstrated that leadership rooted in universal values, justice, equality, forgiveness, and empowerment, has the power to unite humanity across borders and inspire generations to build a fairer, more just world. Nelson Mandela's leadership left behind a powerful legacy of hope and action that continues to inspire individuals, communities, and nations around the world. His life story, marked by resilience in the face of hardship and unwavering dedication to justice, stands as a testament to the idea that no matter the obstacles, meaningful change is possible when driven by courage and conviction. Mandela's legacy is not simply about what he accomplished during his lifetime, but also about the enduring spirit he ignited in others. He showed that hope is not a passive feeling, but an active force that compels people to work tirelessly toward a better future. This hope fueled movements for freedom, equality, and human rights across continents, encouraging people to believe in their power to challenge injustice and create inclusive societies. Importantly, Mandela's legacy calls for action. It is a call to engage with the issues that divide and challenge us, to stand up for the marginalized, and to participate in the ongoing work of building just communities. He emphasized that hope must be paired with responsibility. Leaders and citizens alike must take concrete steps to address inequality, foster reconciliation, and promote social welfare. The hope Mandela inspired is deeply connected to his vision of a world where dignity and respect are universal. His life encourages us to envision a future in which divisions based on race, class, or nationality do not dictate one's opportunities or rights. This vision pushes people beyond despair and cynicism toward constructive efforts for peace and social progress. Moreover, Mandela's example highlights the importance of perseverance and patience in the pursuit of justice. Change is often slow and fraught with setbacks, but his journey reminds us that sustained commitment and resilience can ultimately prevail. His legacy urges leaders to adopt a long-term perspective, focused on healing and transformation, rather than short-term gains or power struggles. Through his enduring legacy, Mandela inspires not only political leaders, but also everyday individuals to become agents of change in their own communities. His story serves as a reminder that leadership is accessible to anyone willing to act with integrity, empathy, and determination. The hope he instilled continues to motivate generations to strive for a world where justice and equality are not ideals but lived realities. In reflecting on Nelson Mandela's life and leadership, we see a timeless example of how true leadership transcends authority and power. Mandela showed us that leadership is about empowering others, healing divisions, and relentlessly pursuing justice with compassion and humility. His legacy challenges each of us to embrace leadership as a responsibility to serve, to uplift, and to inspire. As we face our own challenges, whether in communities, workplaces, or on the global stage, let us carry forward Mandela's vision. Let us lead with empathy, act with courage, and strive to build a world where dignity, equality, and unity are the foundations of our shared future. In doing so, we honor his remarkable impact and contribute to a legacy that will empower generations to come.